Hey, sexy people. Are you tired of all the boys just wanting you for your body? Trying to use you like a walking, talking fleshlight? Maybe you're wondering why they're all gathered in your yard. You have no milkshake? What is this about? You want that real romance? You want the Martin to your Gina, the Jim to your Pam? You know, you want some of that. And every time you think you might be close to it, the guy just says, all right, now take off your clothes. All right, well, then stick around, because in this video, this Dear Megan question is going to be answered, and it's all from a girl who's like, all the boys want from me is sex, okay? It's like, I'm so over it. All right, stick around. Welcome back. Tasha Caulfield here, writer, comedian, author of The Care and Feeding of Sex Symbols, here once again to help us smart and sexy pretty messes feel more loved, secure, and on top of our world. All right, so here's the Dear Megan question that I'm answering. Dear Megan, I feel like sex is all I have to offer because guys mainly seek me for this. That's how she wrote it. I'm in my early 20s and I'm absolutely fed up with the way my male peers treat and look at me. I've only been with one guy my entire life, but before and after our relationship, I was always ogled, groped, and treated like a sex object. I never understood why guys would perceive me this way because I am incredibly shy and introverted. People mainly describe me as shy and sweet as well because of my youthful appearance. Ironically, guys my age and older will sometimes lead me on after socializing with them by asking me to meet them at their apartments, go out on dates, and eventually spend time with them to have sex after. Sitting next to them, they'll blatantly put their hands on my hips, insert their hands into my hoodie pockets, or try to fill me up whenever they ask for a hug. I never lead them on in any way. I just engage with them with politeness, friendliness, and kindness. I use a lot of empathy and give my full attention when talking to them, almost like a therapist, but only because I genuinely want to get to know them and be a good listener. However, they later turn these interactions into something sexual and flirtatious. I want to be a bitch to them, but that's not who I am. I've been internalizing these persistent experiences for a couple of years. Also wondering if sex is something I should start having since that's all they want from me in the end. I only want to lose it in a committed relationship, but I'm afraid that the guy will bounce after I give it to him, or worse, stick around solely for that. I've also thought about escorting and porn, given the way guys look and talk about my body. I really feel like it may be all I have to offer, but I think it's too extreme and goes against my beliefs. Please help. Fresh meat. Dear Fresh Meat and everyone else who is in this sort of predicament, this sort of situation. I've been there, and frankly, I kind of miss it now. Like, I miss the days when guys just cared about what was in your pants. As you get older, they care about what's in your wallet now too. Like, it gets even like less cute. Well, at least some of them, not all of them. And we're gonna go into that. But I'm super stoked about this question because it gets to the very heart of so much of what I wrote about in The Care and Feeding of Sex Symbols, which I'll link below. Perfect question. So stoked. Let's get to it. First, let me go into what you just need to know because you're in your early 20s and you don't have enough experience. So you're just kind of doing some stuff that just isn't helping the situation. And that's not a knock at you. When I was your age, I would be in a boy's room making out with him and not know that he was like trying to get us to have sex. Like, I had no idea. A girlfriend had to tell me. Like, so yeah, you just don't know some stuff. It's weird. So I can't fault her or anybody else for not knowing that when you invite a wolf into an intimate setting with yourself, a guy, wolves are guys, they're gonna make a move. They're just gonna do it. If you don't want that situation, you're gonna have to create some boundaries. Those of us who are, bitches, we have those boundaries, and the guy is kind of like, okay, I can't do that. Your kind reactions to the advances they make that you don't want, just make them think that you actually do want them. So that's why they're gonna, keep kind of pushing that envelope. With that said, their behavior isn't so unique to you that it justifies you altering your self-image, or your ideas of your self-worth, about thinking that that's all you're worth or whatever. Yeah, it's not that deep. However, you are right to turn the lens on yourself when it comes to that internalization of, these persistent experiences, and making it think that these interactions say something about you. Like, that's where you get off into the weeds and completely lose yourself, and and just have no idea who you are anymore, because you're letting other people's behaviors dictate how you feel about yourself. And when you do that, you're gonna feel like crap. So with that said, this is what we have going on here. This is what is happening to every girl who's in this situation. Here's the deal. The only thing that's going on is a situation where you, as a creator of your own reality, have simply just temporarily lost control of your ability to create an experience that you want, which in this situation is romantic encounters where you feel valued. At some point in your internalizing, of these behaviors and focusing on these certain type of guys, you just got a lot of momentum going in that direction. And therefore it starts to kind of magnify, and you start to experience more and more of it in your life, because you invite it by energetic invitation. It's like when you were a kid and you started thinking about the color blue to the point to where you just started seeing it everywhere. Like, whatever you focus on, you start to see more and more of, and you start to experience more and more of. That's just the law of nature. So all we have here is just, a lot of momentum going in a direction of unwanted desires. And you just have to re-embrace your creative power and start to steer the ship in the other direction, so that you can create experiences that you do want. Now, before I go into how you do that, I do want to point out that there are some people who like to first stop and figure out why they kind of created this energy to where you have, this type of unwanted experience. What makes you focus on these type of men and encounters to the point to where you would let it distract you from creating your own desires? Because knowing so, you are able to kind of become aware of some traps and triggers that you may have within you, so that you won't create them again. So if you want to kind of get a background as to the why you created all that, I definitely encourage that as well. With that said, if you do it, allow me to go on a quick rant real quick and affirm that the way a woman dresses or looks is not what makes a guy come at her like that when they're out on dates or whatever. Now, if you show up naked or something like that, that's another story. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, but that is not what makes a guy come at a woman like that. Some people like to blame women for inappropriate behavior on men, even violent behavior sometimes from men. And that's just not okay. A man's character and his personality are the only things that determine how he behaves towards the woman that's standing in front of him. Nothing else. A man is who he is. All right. So let's stop with this whole boys will be boys mentality and just let people off the hook for slimy behavior. I have girlfriends who dress and act like saints, by the way. Pretty much all of them do. I'm the most scandalous one. But they dress and act like saints, and they can't get a guy to take them seriously for the life of them. Meanwhile, little old me, with my boobies and legs, feeling the full breeze of the world, get treated fantastically and get taken very, very seriously. So don't put the whole, don't feel like you got to change that sort of outer stuff in order to experience what you want. What does have an effect on the type of man that you attract and behavior you attract is the energy you put out. That will determine what you have constantly lingering around you. So if you find yourself being surrounded by a bunch of impatient and shallow wolves or whatever, you're gonna want to figure out, okay, what's in my energy that's bringing this. Some examples as to, what could be causing this could be things like emotional unavailability that's coming from, maybe abandonment issues or a previous bad relationship, or a daddy issues, whatever. Remember the videos I did on daddy issues and are you emotionally available and all that yeah, check those out, okay? You could have some sexual trauma that you maybe want to deal with or are ready to deal with now. Or you could just be horny and sexually repressed because you want to maintain some sort of image of good. Yeah, you could have some insecurities that you need to deal with, or you could think you don't really know how to build intimacy, and so you hand the reign overs to guys who are capable of experiencing intimacy through physical interactions a lot sooner than most women, especially when you play therapist. But realizing that once they are in the driver's seat, the pace might be too quick for you. And yeah, you should trust yourself. So you kind of pull back there. Maybe you enjoy exploring the effect you have on men, and but you're still not comfortable engaging in that route because you don't want to settle for sex when you really want love. Maybe you're looking for love in all the wrong places and you know it, so you're stalled romantically. Or maybe you're just somebody who gets themselves into pickles, not literally, obviously, but gets themselves into binds. That's still a little sexual. All right. Well, gets themselves caught up due to, your curiosity or people pleasing stuff, whatever. Like, if you want to go into, what's allowing you to kind of keep experiencing this sort of thing, it can't hurt you. So, with the help of a therapist or your own deep thinking, self-analysis and all that stuff through journaling or books or whatever, can help you get there. Now, the final thing I got to go into before I give you the game plan, that you want to execute to fix your problem, is I do want to touch on your interest in the adult industry as a result of all this attention you've been getting. And I touch on this in my video, How to Use Your Looks to Get Ahead, the adult version. But I want to really say some things here on that because you bring it up. Yeah, when you're young, you're filling things out. You're trying to figure out what's right for you and what feels right, what doesn't. So I totally understand your interest in, considering, is that a path that you should be on? And I applaud your courage and your willingness to explore life on your own terms. Just like the young girl who's tall and thin is encouraged to be a model, or the 300-pound boy is told that he should play football. Yes, there are some people with an unshakable, sexy quality that they're encouraged to utilize. And a lot of people, it can be a tough pill to swallow. Marilyn Monroe was devastated when she found out that she had that quality when her acting instructor, let her know. And eventually she decided to embrace it. But for a lot of people, it feels like you're just not going to be taken seriously. So F it. Let's just give the people what they want. I get it. However, entry into the adult industry, like every other big decision in life, is best done, when it's chosen out of a place of self-love and fun and curiosity and, a certain degree of clarity. Not disillusionment and rebellion and feelings of hopelessness. I have not seen many things work out for people when that was their foundation, their launching pad for the choices they made. You want to continue to stay true to your belief system, and I encourage you to take it a step further by believing that, you can have those intimate encounters that you want, or that person that you want, where you feel joy and adored and valued and chemistry and all that stuff that we go over in the how to know if you should stay with a man, what to look for in a man in a relationship, all that stuff. And now for the game plan. This is what you need to do to steer the ship in the direction that you need to be going in order to experience the type of relationships or whatever that you want and meet those type of guys. Okay, the first thing you need to do is break the momentum you have currently going that is perpetuating all these unwanted experiences by giving your focus to something else, anything else. Preferably something else you enjoy. Like, just don't go on dates for a while. Don't do anything that'll allow you to kind of stay focusing on, you know, male behavior that you don't want to experience. Like, keep that as far out of your experience and world as you can for now. And then when your frustration over how things were going for you in your dating world and things like that have died down, then start to focus. This is you steering the ship in the direction you want to go. Start to focus on what it is you do want to experience. Focus on what you want to experience with a guy and in a relationship and how you want to feel. That's the most important part, how you want to feel in the midst of that person and in a relationship. Write it down, milk it, even go into the why of why you want to feel those things. You want to really keep kind of getting into that, gathering images, songs, whatever, that'll allow you to get into that vibration of love, to really, you know, get that perpetuated and really start to get the momentum going in that direction. That'll allow you to be in a position to where your energy then will start to draw in someone that's a match to that. And to further support your vision, don't entertain anything that isn't what you want. Like when you start dating again and things like that, incorporate phrases and modes of operation that support, you know, your new vision. Have these certain boundaries that'll keep out what isn't right for you. Responses like, you know, thanks for the invitation, but I don't really like hanging out in intimate settings with people unless I really get to know them. Or thanks for the offer, but I'll meet you at the restaurant, or I'll Uber home, or whatever. Like things like that will not only let a guy know what you're about and what you're up for, but it'll also give you more time to determine, is this person right for me or not? Because you'll have more time to check them out. In a world where there's so many people who want so many different things, you're gonna still observe things or whatever, you know, that'll cause you to kind of lose sight of your vision for a moment. Or occasionally you'll connect with a guy who isn't a match to what you want. And in those moments, don't dwell on it. Don't beat yourself up, because that'll just slow down your own creative process, because it'll separate you from your vision and your frequency of love. Just practice self-compassion, as I went over in last week's video on inner beauty secrets, and keep it moving. You know, eventually you will attract someone who is a match to what you want. But remember, as I pointed out in the Care and Feeding of Sex Symbols, a wolf is still a wolf. He's still gonna want your meat. You gotta be okay with that, especially since under the right circumstances, you will want his meat. Okay? Right now, it's just about putting you in a position to attract someone who's about a little bit more than, you know, just a snack. But when you do connect with that person, trust me, you guys will be feasting on each other. Absolutely dining. All right? Like this video and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And until next time, remember that this is Tasha Caulfield reminding you to stay sexy.